And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate plans, tax plans, all types of cool stuff. Solar today on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to be your number one consumer advocate. And what does that mean? That means helping you sort through a lot of the nonsense out there in the mainstream media, providing you that timely truths around all types of cool ideas and ways that you can live a better life and avoid commission-based advice. Let me take a sip of water here. All right, so in studio today, we've got our Intelligent Talk Radio lineup. We've got James DeGerome, our show producer.
How are we
in the
doing
house.
today, Brandon?
Doing awesome, man.
I'm excited today because we got 3D Solar in the house, and 3D Solar represents one of these companies that is brand new to the, solar. A lot of people think it's brand new to Florida. It's coming here. It's time now. Everyone's hearing about it. A lot of spots on the radio, television.
That's right.
Now, all of the companies arrive. All of a sudden, they pop up. There's 10, 20 solar companies that start in the last 5 years. There was no one. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's here. So I just want to help provide some information, as we always do on the show, provide some knowledge to people out there looking for a way to differentiate among some of these businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. And also serving as the backup quarterback, James DeGerome is hosting our show when I'm out from time to time. Travis Mcintire in the house, 3D Solar. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for coming in. So give us a little overview of what you want to talk about today.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, my solar start. I was in the remodel business for 20 years. When granite countertops first got started 20 years ago, nobody had a granite countertop.
Yeah.
And I noticed that these people suddenly, if they had a screwdriver and a will in their hand, in their mind, that they were a fabricator.
Yeah.
And they weren't. And
That's
they weren't
right.
prepared to take on to help a business grow like what solar needs. So what I found is that through experience, I found a guy named David Ringo. And I started talking to him, and I didn't want to leave the remodel business. I had a great job, I had a great book of business, a lot of followers, because I was honest with people. And the way I did business was making sure that my word was worth more than my wallet when I was talking to people. And to me, it stood out because everyone wants a quick, rich scheme, or, let's make a quick dollar.
That's right.
And there's nothing further than solar is from a quick dollar.
Yep.
It's sizing the system properly to ensure the customer is getting the proper savings, to making sure that the panels are on the right roof, and you're talking about the right things to make sure they're happy, and they'll refer you and grow the business the right way.
It's a relationship. Brandon, you're talking about buying an automobile. You're going to have someone that's going to take care of it. You're going to worry about where you park it, you're going to have somebody that you talk to about new craftsmanship, workmanship, a mechanic, someone that's going to do work on it. And the relationship's going to go for 10, 15 years. Solar could be 20, 30 years in a relationship with a particular vendor. So it's something that you need to feel really good about, and someone that needs to give you real answers when you have questions.
Yeah, I like that. And I've seen, we'll get into the technology side of that as well, and exactly how it works, the tax rebates, the incentives, all the cool stuff that is there. We're going to talk about the political climate of solar technology, as well as the 3D Solar, longtime friends of the program here, the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Fast 50. They were number 12 on that list. Also on the Inc. 5000, they were number 743 on the Inc. 5000. Think about that for a minute. Right here in studio, we're going to help you win. That's our goal on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Everything from real estate to credit to finance. We've got attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, so many ways that we can help you. We want to be that hub on your financial wheel, and each spoke extending out, representing another one of our 80 plus show partners. So consumerqb.com, that is your number one resource for all things in the Tampa Bay area here. We're going to put you in touch with the best expert contributors, consumerqb.com. And we want to make sure you save our hotline number in your phone. It's 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. Give us a call, or you can even text that line with any questions that you may have. And let's give a shout out to our official hotel partner. Have you guys ever checked out the Bilmar Beach Resort over on beautiful Treasure Island? It's filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. And not just vacations or staycations. It's for businesses. It's got weddings going on there as well, business trips, 2 2 pools on site. You got a long beach that goes all the way out to the beautiful Gulf of Mexico and the sugar sand beaches of Treasure Island. So Bilmar Beach Resort is the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Now, make sure you give them a call. Let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we want to help you win. As you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty team here in Tampa Bay with Keller Williams now. We partnered up with the #1 real estate firm in the world, Keller Williams. We got a couple of hot listings. I want to start off with a commercial space here, 207 Coronado Drive, Clearwater Beach. Now, this is a beautiful property. It's a convenience store. Currently in the back, there's some rental apartments. But if you look at the drone photography, check out that view. You've got the Wyndham Grand across the street. You've got the Hyatt. You've got some just amazing opportunities. Shepherd's Beach, all these different restaurants and hotels surrounding Pier 60 is a short walk. So I've got a prime opportunity. It's $3.5 million asking price, but it's a great opportunity. It's only going to go up in value as you're right on the beautiful beaches of beautiful Tampa Bay, 207 Coronado Drive. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for all of our real estate listings. PlatinumMVPRealty.com. All right, let's jump right into it. So we've got Travis Mcintire here in studio. Travis, so when you think about solar, it's not only is it something where you can save money, the economics behind it, the tax incentives, all that cool stuff, but it's also something that you're doing for Mother Earth.
Correct. And that's that's why I do this business. I mean, it's fun to make money and it's fun to say, hey, I'm doing well. But what I do every day when I sell a job and put panels on a roof is to take shovels of coal and keep it out of a fire.
Absolutely.
The global warming debate, I mean, it's a debate, oh, is it causing or is it not? But what we can argue is global depletion of a natural resource.
Right.
When you remove oil, and if I said, hey, I want to put a order in for a bucket of oil, it'll probably take me about 3 to 5 million years before I'll have my order filled.
Right.
And that we can't argue. When you remove it from the ground, you can't put it back. And the nice thing about solar energy and renewable energy is that every single day that sun's going to come up.
Yeah.
And there's a whole new day of energy production that we can harness and take advantage of to help save the world.
And what about taking some of the stress off the grid? We talk about the power grid and the constant expansion with new construction. We're these doomsday scenarios out there. People talk about, hey, the grid can be affected, or what would happen if we had a grid issue.
Yeah.
Boy, we need to get less people, relying on that grid and try to take some of the stress off that thing. Every time a solar energy provider allows you to become your own little power plant there, you're helping not just, as Travis mentioned, from the standpoint of the environment effect, but now you've reduce the stress on the power grid altogether, and you're starting to create some flexibility there where you're not everyone's hammered by this grid. If it goes down, there's an issue.
Yeah, I like that. You ever think also if you lose power, that's one thing, and then you also something happened with the satellite signals or the cell phone numbers.
Oh,
you don't hardly know anybody's number by heart anymore. I mean, I know a few, but isn't that to
just
think
a
about
few
how
hours
you're
without the internet, and all of a sudden everything's chaotic.
Yeah.
All it takes is I can't get on the internet. 3 hours, it feels like you're missing some kind of huge event if you can't get on the internet.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can imagine a power issue.
And I think solar's the same way when it comes as far as it's so new that everyone's kind of afraid of it, because we as people we're characters or people of habit that we're scared of something that's new. It's like, are you sure about that? Is that really new?
We put the past on a pedestal.
Correct.
And anything new, it's like, oh, let's be real careful. Let's slow to adapt.
And it's become common for everyone to be under the assumption that someone's going to take advantage of me in business.
Right.
I can't find real information out there. How can I trust this person?
Right.
That kind of thing clouds your ability to make a clear decision. When it's obvious this is a win-win for everyone.
It is.
This concept is not going away. We have to make a change, and this is the time to make that change. You've got to take steps, and you got to find someone you can trust. Travis often talks about it being a trusted advisor rather than a salesperson.
Yeah.
I think that's critical. Travis, expand a little bit if you could.
Absolutely, because let's face it. If you take your typical homeowner, I've been paying my electric bill to the same people for 15 to 20 years. Most people don't even look at their electric bill. They just send the check because they don't want to take the time to read it because they don't think there's anything they can do about it until now. Now I have an option for you. Now, another difficult thing is that the only way to really reach people and to teach people is to sit across from them at the table. And then you have the dreaded sales guy come to my house, which really gives, it hurts the solar business because we at 3D Solar have the right intention. When I come to your home, I'm not going to try to hard sell you the first time I come to see you. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to answer your questions and let you know that solar is the real deal. And I think the more people that we reach and the more glass that we put on roofs, the more that people are going to see this is real. And this is something I can be a part of too. And matter of fact, you can save money doing it as well. And that's the key, to give people what they pay for, and a little bit more through 3D is what we believe. So that way they will tell the neighbor, they will talk about it, and we'll continue to grow a cause that literally will help save this world one day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm Brandon Rhymes. We got James DeGerome as well weighing in. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you too, now on the technical side, you mentioned like when you get your bill. I was at a client's house and he had solar on the property. I'm not sure if it was yours or not. But he was showing me, he was so ecstatic about being able to pull up his computer, and he had one of these huge Apple monitors. I mean, it was really neat, and you could see the amount of photovoltaic that he's saving, the amount of excess energy that he's producing. Pretty cool to see that right on the computer screen.
And it's really cool being involved with that, because when people have a $250 electric bill, and let's take Duke for instance, and now we have less than a $10 connection fee to pay for, and when they get in the mailbox and they get their first bill and they open up and they say, oh my gosh, this is real. And they're realizing that it's not a scam. And that's the hard thing to get in people's heads, that yes, you can produce electricity from your roof. Yeah. You can save money. And with 3D Solar, you're going to have a company that actually cares about you. Yeah. And with us, you're more than a checkbook. You're a customer that's going to spread a cause to help us do what we want to do, and that's making a better world.
I like that. We got to go on a break here, but when we come back, more from our expert contributors from 3D Solar, one of the #1 highly acclaimed, best reviewed online solar companies in the Tampa Bay area and beyond. So we're talking with Travis Mcintire here, James DeGerome in the house, and we also have our feel-good story of the day. A man helps General Colin Powell after tire blowout on the highway. Find out about this cool story that took to Facebook as well for his appreciation. Stay with us right here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense. and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. We are a top listing agency here in Tampa Bay. We got buyer agents on our team. My wife is a licensed agent as well. We would love to help you with all of your real estate needs. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for any details on that. And we also have our buyer seller seminar coming up as well on the 28th. We're hosting a buyer seller seminar that is coming up over at going to be hosted over at Cox Media Group over on 4th Street North, 6 to 8 p.m. on the 28th. We're going to have some food there. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have the Snoop Dogg, Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection is going to be there, talking about the inspection side of the business. William Crowley, aka the Credit Magician, is going to be in the house as well. He's going to be talking about the credit side. We're going to talk about buying side of real estate, selling side, listing side, and also title as well. So some of the issues that come up with title. So it's going to be all you want to know about real estate investing, buying, selling. It's going to be on February 28th. Save that date, 6 to 8 p.m. Cox Media Group, 1025 The Bone Studio. We'll give you a radio station tour if you'd like. And go on eventbrite.com, grab your tickets. They're free. You just have to register so we can make sure we have you on the list. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. And they strive to be one of the very best Tampa Bay moving companies by exceeding your expectations, from the first phone call to the final customer courtesy call. And they are among the best reviewed Tampa Bay movers, where Google, they hold a 4.6 rating. They have one of the highest in the Tampa Bay area, an A rating from the Better Business Bureau, an A rating on Angie's List, and a 4.5 rating on Yelp. And they've also won the Super Service Award multiple times. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Give them a call. Make sure you let them know you heard about them on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and they're going to help you out with some special offers and incentives, discounts, just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, back here in studio helping you win. 7424 4th Street North is a hot commercial listing that we've got listed with our real estate team at Keller Williams Realty. 7424 4th Street North over in St. Petersburg. Commercial listing, corner lot, gas station, and it also has 3 bays. It's serving as a mechanical shop as well. So it's a mini mart with a gas station. We got some beautiful drone photography up on the website now. So we'll be updating those photos soon. If you're watching our TV show on WeBeam TV, check it out, WeBeam TV, and then also we have it streaming from our website at consumerqb.com. All right, in studio with me today, James DeGerome, executive show producer with the Consumer Quarterback Show, Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar. So we wanted to give you a breakdown of kind of an economic model. So I know that's a question that maybe a lot of our listeners, our viewers have is, hey, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot home, an average size home. My roof is facing the direction of the sun. Can you walk us through a scenario there, Travis?
I'd love to, absolutely. And that's a great question, because that's what a lot of people are asking. Am I really going to save money from this? What's the bottom line? And then the big question is, what's the return on investment?
Yes.
They're all great questions. But one thing I do know as far as with solar is, imagine going to the gas station and you're able to lock in a gallon of gas at $2 a gallon. And then a year later, gas is now at $2.50 to $3 a gallon. Well, when you pull up to the pump, you're still going to be paying $2. And that's the same as solar. You get a fixed payment that inflation can't affect.
Wow.
Because the average inflation for utility companies now is approximately 5%.
Wow.
Now, if you're going to be in your home and 10 years later, that's 50% more you'll be paying for a utility bill. With solar, you don't. And 10 years later, you're 10 years closer to paying off your system, and then you won't have a bill at all with the exception for a connection fee.
I love
that.
To
me,
Right. Think about that.
it's huge.
I love that.
Absolutely, guys, because
so
if you have a $200 bill, let's say an average bill of $200. Now, square footage can vary. It's about consumption in the home, not necessarily how large the home is.
Right.
So if you're averaging approximately $200 per month, my goal as a solar salesperson would be to make your solar payment approximately $150 to $160 per month. So now we're saving $40 a month, almost $500 a year.
Wow.
And if you factor in 5% inflation per year, and it grows and grows, plus the cost of the hurricane recovery, or when they're putting in solar fields, they're adding more to your bill. This way you don't have any inflation with that bill. You have a fixed payment you can depend on. Now, some of the older folks like, look, I'm 70 years old. I'm not going solar. But if I'm 70 and someone says, hey, I got a fixed payment for you, I'm going to pay attention. And I'm going to realize, hey, they are taking more of my money every year.
Yeah, and at some point you're going to sell that asset.
Absolutely.
Or maybe even some seniors, they opt for the reverse mortgage option where you can do that. You're still going to have an appreciation, built in.
And you'll
Absolutely.
reach a time when you're no longer making any payment whatsoever, and the device is still working for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's no brainer from the start, but it's only going to get better as the terms go along.
Right. I like that idea. So you have a cost, is there an initial down payment or is there a cost up front?
Great question.
Yeah.
And these are all questions a lot of people like to ask because before you even come out to the home, because they want to make sure, once again, it's the real deal, which it is.
Yeah.
And with 3D Solar, when we do price a system, we make sure that we hit it dead on, making sure that production and consumption meet. So let's say an average home of a 1,500 square foot house, if it's a $30,000 average solar system, you get a tax credit of 30%. So that makes the $9,000 off that initial investment, which right off the bat is nice to have.
Right.
But I will warn people, it is going to start to gradually go away. This 2019 is the last year that we can take advantage of a full 30% savings. Next year, we're 26, the following year, 22. So I highly recommend people, if you haven't talked to a solar professional yet, especially from 3D Solar, now's the time to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to take a look at this as we're getting our house near completion, and it just seems like such a no-brainer here to do that.
Absolutely. And there's no money down, so there's no money out of pocket. So people automatically think when you do the pricing and you roll out that you're going to have to put 50% down. And that's not true. You simply try to trade off the large utility bill payment. And now you have your solar payment, which is less. And the beauty is there's an end to that solar payment. Right. With your utility company, it's like you're renting your electricity.
Yes.
There's never an end to it.
Let me ask you the next question in the lineup. So we're talking with 3D Solar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Travis Mcintire in the house. Normally you hear David Ringo from time to time, but Travis Mcintire as well here in studio. Now, when it comes to the gentleman I was mentioning earlier, he's one of my listings, actually. He's got 26 panels on his roof. He's producing in excess, and he's like net positive, right? Is that the term, net positive? So he's net positive on his. What's the next step in your mind? Like, how do we get to where we can store that in case of an emergency, a hurricane issue? Now you're getting into the battery side of it, right? Is it some extra components involved?
That's a great question. And a lot of people are asking about batteries. Everyone's heard of Tesla and they've heard of certain things. I want to store this or store that. But if you really talk to a trusted advisor from 3D Solar, you'll realize that the generator is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
You're limited sometimes, and people, they're afraid to tell customers this because they don't want to lose the sale. But at 3D Solar, we believe that transparency is the way to do business.
Sure.
So what I tell people that, sure, you can have a battery backup system, but if you're going to run a ceiling fan, you might run a couple lights, but you're not going to run your whole house, which these undertrained people are overpromising. So we're going to recommend for the few days that the power is out, especially in Pinellas County, get you a Generac generator. Yeah. So that way it takes the pressure off and you don't have to worry about it. And when the power goes off, the Generac generator turns on and it runs your entire home, not just a ceiling fan. So to me, I think that's the way to go.
We've had them as a show partner back a couple of years ago. They were on the show many times. And,
great product.
It sounds like a really interesting idea because that's fueled by fuel.
Yes, sir. Natural gas. Yeah. Or propane. Absolutely.
The other part of this thing is that there's legislation involved. Each jurisdiction has to make a decision about how they're going to go forward with this thing.
Right.
You can't have folks out there on their own generating their own power and putting it back onto the grid.
That's correct.
So it's a safety issue as well.
Right.
You've got to be careful about how things are done. And that's why the government's been involved in this thing from the beginning. And when you say, what can we do to be our own power company, we're working that direction. And I see the future legislation being more receptive to solar. They're going to encourage people the best they can to go this direction. It's only going to get easier for you as an individual consumer to control your own power.
Yeah, we hope so. I really do. Give us the website and any like Instagram. Are you guys on Instagram or handles? Connects on Instagram. So what's the website?
I believe it's just www.3dsolar.com right now.
I know David Ringo, you mentioned had some videos he's done recently put up there. So we're trying to get that content developed and push the message out there. Again, it's becoming very competitive in terms of the advertising dollar out there. There are more and more people springing up in this industry, and you have to be more diligent to do the right homework to make sure you're ending up with the right person.
Good point. Let's have Travis expand on that. Yeah.
That is a great point. And I'll go back to my early days and the granite. And it reminded me of a pack of people coming off the starting line at a marathon. And it is a marathon. And about mile 5 or 6, you're going to see the people that are not chasing the money, that they're chasing a cause. They're wanting to make a difference, not just in their wallet, but in the world.
Right.
And about mile 6 or 7, you're going to see about 3 to 4 people separate themselves from the pack. And 3D Solar is going to be one of them, just because the ethics, honesty, and integrity that we approach business every day. And what I'm seeing as a salesperson and as a sales manager is these people are undertrained. And they're like, hey, Carl's good with people. Let's get him out there and get him in front of people. Well, that's a mistake, because Carl doesn't know solar.
Right.
And me, I train trusted advisors, people that give the customer enough information to make a good decision to purchase this product on information and not sales pitches. And that's how 3D Solar separates themselves from the competition. We are going to be a pack leader, and I'm darn proud of that. And that starts from the owner and how he treats his people, which David Ringo, I've never seen anybody treat anybody like he treats us. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tampa Bay Business Journal's Fast 50, number 12 on that list. Lots of accolades, tax incentives, product warranties, financing options. So many reasons why you should reach out to 3D Solar. Get that free consultation. Sit down with them. And go ahead and text the word solar to 813-670-7372. If you're interested, you want more information, just simply text the word solar to our consumer advocate hotline, 813-670-7372, and we'll make sure we get you in touch with our team at 3D Solar. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show and owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'd love to help you with any of your real estate needs. We're actually hiring to our team right now as well. So if you or someone you know of is interested in a career in real estate or talking about, maybe making a switch, we would love to talk to you. PlatinumMVPRealty.com, ConsumerQB.com, your number one resources when it comes to all things credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, 7 or 8 different types of attorneys that we have in our network. And I tell you, yesterday I was involved in a car accident.
Really?
First thing I did was contacted Jason Coble. He said, hey, here's what you do. Make sure you do this. Because even myself, being in the business so long, some lady just moved right in my lane. No way to avoid her expletive. Right. And had to lock him up, man. I just had to lock him up. Boom. Pretty hard impact. I went and got treatment afterwards. I'm going to see Dr. Doug again. Right.
It's nice to have somebody that you immediately know you can call.
That's it. And that's what we want this show to be, because even me as the host and in this for a long time, I was shaken up, man. I was like, wow, it's kind of like right before a football game or something, you're like, you're ready to go in there. And so the emotions are high, the adrenaline's pumping. So I was in a car accident, contacted Jason Coble Law. He's all over it. And he gives you that level of assurance that, hey, don't worry about it. I got this.
Yeah, that's just what you're looking for. Because everything's a little chaotic and you're shook. You need somebody to say, we got you. And that's what that trusted advisor role that we talk about.
That's right. That's why that hotline is the key. Save it in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372. That's your number one consumer advocate hotline right there. You can call or text that line. Just save it in your phone, because at some point you may need it. Of course, consumerqb.com. But it gives you that level of assurance, James. We were talking about it, and it's like, hey, here's what you do. Here's what you do not do. You do not talk directly to the other insurance company, because they're going to try to get you to say something they can hold against you in court.
And all those small details that he's so familiar with would not occur to me one time. If you told me, hey, you can't speak, don't talk to that guy, don't mention this, it wouldn't occur to me. I'm just out there saying, help, I need a little help. Here's what happened. Putting yourself in a bad position without even knowing it.
That's right. Yeah. So that's why we set this show up almost 6 years ago. We've been on air now, and it's a consumer advocate. We've helped hundreds of people, thousands maybe, with credit improvement. That's one of the big areas of our show. It's credit improvement, identity theft prevention and recovery. Lots of ways that we can help people, but it's up to you, to allow us that pleasure to serve you. That's what we do, and we want to help you with that. So we got a great lineup today. James DeGerome, executive show producer, sitting in with us as well. We got Travis Mcintire in studio as well, 3D Solar. And want to let you know about a hot listing that we've got over on the beach. This is 1370 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 401, Clearwater Beach, Bella Rosa condo on Sand Key, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, beautiful condo. And it's got 2,200 square feet. This is one that I actually featured on my TV show with the American Dream television show. This is the show that I featured this property on. So if you check out YouTube, you can see some of the shows there, Apple TV, Amazon TV, Roku, and CBS. It's the American Dream television show. So we have a really awesome thing going on over at our team with Keller Williams Realty, and we're excited. We're looking for agents that want to join the team, buyers, sellers, investors. We'd love to help you with all of your real estate needs. So back in studio here, we're helping you win in any marketplace. I told Steve Gunnan yesterday too. I went and saw him at Replenish IV Solutions, him and his wife Lisa. Stephen and Lisa Gunn and Replenish IV Solutions, I told them I would give them a shout out. On the 15th, they're doing a grand opening of their new Carrollwood location. Okay. So they've got a Carrollwood office. They've got the office on Gandy Boulevard there, just to the east of West Shore. So Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. We're talking about an injection directly into your bloodstream of vitamins, minerals, electrolytes. They've even got oxygen tanks now, all kinds of cool stuff over there. So reach out, let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance.
I think Steve even comes to you. He'll even make an arrangement to come directly to you.
Matter of fact, he got a call. He was talking to his wife. He said, hey, we've got to go see so-and-so. Their whole family wants to get a bag of vitamins. They're going, a lot of people were recovering from Gasparilla also this weekend.
Right. He's got a really cool business model.
Yeah, it's really neat. So he can go right to your home or office and hook you up with a bag, and you can still get your work done. Most people are punching on their iPhone or kind of relaxing there. But yeah, let's jump right back into it. So we've got Travis Mcintire here in studio, and as we were talking between the segments there. I'm personally considering this. So I've got some questions that I wanted to ask you as if I was in a consultation, right?
Absolutely.
So we set up a time, you come over, you check it out, you kind of look at where the sun's hitting our roof and the amount of roof that we have. Walk us through that. How does this roll out?
Absolutely. Great question. Because a lot of people are wondering, what do I do to get a price? Because they try to avoid the salespeople in their house. But with 3D Solar, we specialize ourselves in being the trusted advisor. So when we are scheduled for an appointment, oftentimes I'm training my people to look at a couple websites. PV Watts is one, which will show production. They can customer can double check to make sure that whatever solar company is building the system, that it will meet the production they're being promised. Project Sunroof is another great website because it'll actually show the sunlight on the home. The color being purple is bad, bright orange is being good. That means you can produce what we're promising you. So the advisor comes to your home, and I try to make the appointments as depending on the questions of the customer. I don't want a sales guy in your house 3 or 4 hours because nobody wants that. And then people, they kind of lose the interest after a while because they have a life. So we come to your home, we take the electric bill, and we see how many kilowatt hours a day that you're consuming. Right? Because your consumption, I'm about production. We've got to meet in the middle, and that's the equation to that is no bill.
Yeah.
So once we size the system, we make sure that the roof has adequate room for the panels, and then we give you the price right then and there, so there's no games, and oftentimes it's a lot less than what people are thinking.
Now, you'd be surprised at all the details that go into that, Brad. He went right through it because he knows exactly what he's doing. But the type of roof, the orientation that he mentioned.
Yes.
A lot of people talk about, I want solar. You can't force solar. It has to be a fit. It has to be a marriage between the technology and your situation.
Yeah, it's kind of like feng shui. You know, my wife is she's into feng shui as well, so she works with other interior designers. So it comes down to the orientation of the house. Which way is it facing?
Correct.
Which we all know that the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So you got to have that. What is it? Southern exposure.
That's correct. That's
so we've got some southern exposure. Do we have enough? That's the question. And then also another question too. I wanted to ask you about the heater side to heat the pools as well, because I sometimes that's a separate issue, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, and then people are used to seeing those large black plastic sheets, for lack of better terms, and that's thermal energy or thermal solar.
Right.
And if you've noticed, oftentimes when you look at a shingle roof or you look at a tile roof, you'll see large, almost like a stain next to those, and that's from the system actually leaking. We prefer to use a heat pump and to see if we can put enough solar panels on there to offset the bill. Because let's face it, in the wintertime, you're not using your air conditioning.
Right.
And that's where people will use the heat pump.
Yeah. So
then the summertime comes on, the pool starts to heat up, and then you don't need your heat pump because the sun does it for you. So that's what we like to use as a heat pump. So that way it saves the people money, it gives them a warm pool, and everybody's happy.
I like that.
And the sun is what's doing the heating for you or paying for it.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're talking with Travis Mcintire here, 3D Solar on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So let's continue on with that example then. So we come out, we sit down, we have the initial conversation. We say, here's what the costs are versus what you're going to save. There's no upfront money, any out of pocket expenses.
Correct.
It also comes with warranties.
That's correct.
So yeah, that next step would be.
Absolutely. So the next step would be, as far as then we get you signed up, we get you qualified, and we get you signed up. Usually it's a 650 credit score or better that'll get you going, which is it's a decent score. I mean, I would call it average. And then at no money down whatsoever, you're qualified. The paperwork is done in the home. We make sure that our trusted advisors have the interconnections and everything it needs to move forward. What I don't want to do is leave the home with a lot of loose ends, because then the homeowner can be confused. The time frame starts to be lengthy. Then they get frustrated. Then they start talking about solar, and we don't want people to stop talking about it.
Hey, Travis, I got a question for you.
Sure.
In the scenario Brandon's laying out, he's building a new home.
Okay.
We don't have that good track record of energy consumption to go off, and we want to meet his consumption demands. How can we handle that situation?
That's a great question. I rarely will I sell a job to somebody who's only been in a couple weeks. I do like to get an idea of how you're using the home, because otherwise I'm just trying to slap panels on the roof and cross my fingers and hope for the best.
Right.
And then sometimes you can't get refinanced on an array once it's on the home. So in that situation, I'd like to see maybe a summer bill. I'd like to see something in the spring so I can make sure that when I build the system, I'm doing it the right way.
Now, what was that word you just used? Summer array
or summer, or I'd like a summer bill, or I would like a spring bill, because the summer bills obviously are going to be the most meaty.
Okay.
And then if I had a spring bill, I can get an idea of what you're going to be doing in the off season, so to speak.
So when he talks about building the array, the actual layout of the panels in terms of meeting your consumption. So how many and where do we put them to meet your consumption.
Interesting. Okay. So that's interesting. And so there's many advantages when it comes to, we talked a little bit about the tax incentives.
Correct.
Kind of works like a gift card in essence. You got product warranties. How long is the warranty on them?
That I'm very, very proud of. And our CFO, Ryan Swartz, has worked extremely hard in order to make sure that we have the right panel for the right people. And we use a panel that has a 30-year warranty, efficiency warranty.
Nice.
Your average solar payments usually are out to about 20 years. So that means that when my system's paid off, I'm going to have 10 more years of warranty. That is phenomenal for the average consumer.
I really was surprised at the length. I mean, and also we talked about concern, and we'll get into it a little bit later, of the roof penetration. A lot of folks have said, hey, man, you're going to nail this to me. You're going to go through my roof. Yep. And it creates this issue where they're not so comfortable with that. We're going to guarantee that for 25 years.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing the warranties in this stuff. It's why you can't go wrong here.
I like it.
I agree with that, and I think that's one of the main concerns that I have from my consumers. You're going to drill a hole in my roof, and I get 40 inches of rain a year. And the one thing I love about working for 3D Solar and for David Ringo is that we don't use subcontractors. These people are W-2. They are 3D Solar's employees.
Let's get into that after the break.
On the flip side.
That's a key.
All right. Stay with us right here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, when we come back, our feel-good story of the day. Man helps General Colin Powell after tire blowout on highway. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
Show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by Platinum MVP Realty.com. And we want to help you win at any marketplace. That's the goal of our show, always being your consumer advocate, helping you sort through a lot of the nonsense out there in the mainstream media and helping you avoid a lot of commission-based advice that's so prevalent out there. Got a hot listing in Seminole, Florida. This is 9511 Antilles Drive in Seminole, Florida. This is 4-bedroom, 3-bath. You also have a half bath, 2820 square feet, and it's a new estate-style home, barely lived in. The owners, I think, lived a short period of time. David Weekley home on nearly a half an acre of mature landscaped lot. Beautiful property. Just reduced the price as well, down in the mid to mid 500s. Beautiful property, 9511 Antilles Drive in Seminole is a hot real estate property. Also, we've got 4212 Thistle Terrace Place in Valrico. River Hills Country Club, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. You also have a half bath as well, 2643 square feet. And this is the home I was mentioning that has 27 solar panels on the roof. It also has that thermal pool you can see there as well, Travis. You know, so this property, it's a nice corner lot, huge lot, and it has a conservation view across the street. Just a gorgeous property, and it's nicely updated and upgraded on the inside, and it's just a nice property, beautiful listing. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPRealty.com, PlatinumMVPRealty.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And every day we're going to tell you something positive here in our Feel Good segment of the day.
Tell me something good.
So this is where the man helps General Colin Powell after a tire blowout on the highway. So General Colin Powell took to Facebook to show his appreciation for a good Samaritan who helped him after his tire blew out on the highway in Washington, D.C. As the retired 4-star general was working to change the tire, he said a vehicle pulled in front of his and a man with an artificial leg got out to help him. Powell wrote, "Yesterday was a reassuring day for me. I was on my way to Walter Reed Military Hospital for an exam. As I drove along Interstate 495, my left tire blew out, and I am a car guy and knew I could change it, but it was cold outside and the lug bolts were very tight. I jacked the car up and got several of the bolts removed when a car suddenly pulled in front of me. As the man got out of his car, I could see that he had an artificial leg. He said he recognized me and wanted to help me. We chatted, and I learned that he lost his leg in Afghanistan when he was worked over there as a civilian employee. He grabbed the lug wrench and finished the job as I put the tools away. Then we both headed off to appointments at Walter Reed. I hadn't gotten his name or address, but he did ask for a selfie. Powell didn't get the man's name, but received the following message from him later that evening. General Powell, I hope I never forget today because I'll never forget reading your books. You were always a man of inspiration, a leader, a statesman. After 33 years in the military, you were a giant whose shoulders we stood up on to carry the torch, to light the way, and now it is tomorrow's generation that must do the same. Anthony Maggart. Pretty cool story.
Awesome. How about that?
Yeah, man. You never know who's going to help out on the side of the road, right?
Yeah, and you never know how much you need. There's a grown man saying, boy, these lug nuts don't want to turn.
Yeah. So
I've been
help
there.
them out. Yeah, that's awesome. So good stuff. So positivity for you there, injection. So back here in studio, James DeGerome, Travis Mcintire representing 3D Solar. And so what else do you want to talk about, Travis?
I would just like to talk about as far as what separates 3D Solar from the other companies out there. There's probably, I don't even know, I've lost track of how many new people are starting up in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them will go out of business or change their name in less than a year because they're going to realize it's not an easy road with solar.
Yeah.
It's a new product. So when you're introducing something that's new, it takes time for people to get used to it, for lack of better terms.
That's right.
I mean, I challenge people to look around the neighborhoods and see how many solar systems that you see on your drive home from work.
Yeah.
Maybe one, maybe two.
Are you starting to see that in the real estate side, Brandon, as well?
Yeah, I see it, and I've talked to different companies throughout, my time as a radio show host and realtor. And one of the questions I would ask is, Tony Robbins in his book Money Master the Game, he kind of picks on the industry of investing, of mutual funds specifically, and he says that there's mutual funds that you can pay into a mutual fund. It's such a bad industry when you think about it. A lot of them aren't fiduciaries, these wealth advisors, but I'm going to bring it into a metaphor here. He says that if you invest with the wrong advisor into a mutual fund and you pay essentially the same thing, he said it's basically paying $30,000 for a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord, versus paying $300,000 for that same Honda Accord, depending on how many fees they have hidden, the compounding of those fees over time. So that would be my question to you: is, where does that pendulum swing in terms of, good, better, and best when it comes to solar companies? Because if you make the wrong decision, you could end up paying a lot more money for the same similar product. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that's why you want to check the reviews. I mean, we're Angie's List Super Service Award 3 years in a row for a reason. We don't buy that award. People vote on that. They say, hey, are you the best? Top growing, fastest growing companies in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot. The trophy case is full. We're getting full. We want to double it.
Yeah.
But all trophies put aside, what to me, it means this. And this is our philosophy at 3D Solar. If you make your word worth more than your wallet, you're going to be successful. So what we try to do is show we have a good word. When 3D Solar says we're going to do this, we do it. If we're going to put 10 panels up, that's fine. We'll put 10 up, and we'll do something extra that you may not know about. We may pick up an extra piece of trash in the lawn, but our philosophy is make it better before we get there.
Yeah,
and I'm proud of that. And having your own employees, that's how we do that. Yeah. We don't have subcontractors to where we have to be concerned. What's this guy up to today? Is he going to show up?
That's huge.
It's massive. And to know that the guys on the roof, because that's where your referrals are going to come from. Our best guys, of course, I'm a sales manager. I'm going to say my sales guys, but our referrals come from our installers.
Yeah.
And the installers being trained with the owner checking up on them, because David shows up on the job sites.
That's great.
And very few owners will do that in a business, especially successful business like 3D Solar. They're worried about their Rolex. They're worried about, look at my new car. Not David. He still drives the same truck. He still wears the same clothes because he's worried about growing a business and not his wallet. And that's why I work for David. And I'm very proud of that.
Travis, you guys are contacted occasionally by homeowners who had already done business with another solar provider and need a fix or something's not correct.
That's correct. And, I must say it's rather heartbreaking to me whenever, and I love to take those phone calls, and I tell the girls in the office, give me that phone, because I want to make sure that the guy on the other end is somebody that's going to care about them, not just for that day, but for life. Because if you do the job right, and this is why I'll go back to the installers and say this one more time. If the job's not installed right, the neighbors aren't going to tell the homeowner, because they don't want to hurt their feelings. They just won't call us. Yeah. But if the job's installed right and it looks amazing like our systems do, you're going to have more phone calls than you know what to dream of, just from people driving by saying, who did that? Right. That's how our work stands out. We make an extra penetration with a solar deck to make sure that we don't have conduit all over your roof. We make our panels line up. I mean, we go overboard to make sure that we did the right thing.
Because you can get yourself in a bad situation if you haven't been given the proper information, and these panels are purchased and put in a location that's not meeting the production that you need in terms of electricity. You can be put in a tough situation there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. I mean, no names were mentioned, and I won't mention the company, but I had a sales rep in my training class about a month ago. And when I was going over the system sizing portion of the training, all I saw was an open mouth and shocked eyeballs from his side of the table.
Because they're just putting as many as they can put up there. Just put them all up there.
It's awful. But and his main concern is that they put panels in a shaded area with a string inverter. When one goes down, they all go down. We use inverters that they're independent. So if one's shaded, they all will still work.
Right.
And then plug and play. So if they had two people move into the home, they can simply add to the system. So we try to make that as convenient as we can.
So just expand on that just a sec, Travis.
Sure.
So you're a family, just you and your wife, and then all of a sudden you have some kids. Well, your consumption automatically increases because you got more people in the household. Now what do? We want to meet our consumption. We have to go back and say, hey, can we expand? And you better have the right inverter or you can't do it.
That's correct. And I love saying, yes, I can. But I'll go back to one thing you were saying about the horror stories that I see. The main thing that I see, the culprit, is undersizing systems, because slick salespeople want to make the payments as cheap as they can to make it as appealing as they can to the customer. But they're not only hurting their company, they're hurting an industry, a cause that I'm venomously protective of solar.
Right. So as the homeowner, you'll say, you promised me no bill, and here I've got a bill.
And it's heartbreaking when you hear it, because when you see the problem and you look at the electric bill, the one thing I know, there's an undertrained salesperson that was in your home that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
He just wanted to make the sale.
And that's why I put three trusted advisors in your home from 3D Solar, and not some slick sales guy that wants to get his wallet fed.
It's a big difference. We talk about knowledge is power, Brandon.
It really is. So about a minute left. Real quick, I wanted to ask you, have you seen an increase in cost in terms of your supplies due to the Trump issues or the tariffs? the tariffs on the aluminum?
We have not, because we have the David Ringo, the owner, and our CFO, Ryan Swartz. They had some forecasting, thank God, capabilities. And we use products from North America.
Nice.
And that way we don't have to worry about the tariff.
Well, that's big in itself. You're using products from North America. At least it's
huge for us.
I like
all
that.
the stuff we talk about, locally owned, someone who's in your area that knows the business.
Yep.
Sourcing products locally, everything that we talk about in general as a positive business, 3D meets those demands.
Yeah, tax incentives, warranties, financing options, reducing your carbon footprint, lots of ways that solar can help you. And I tell you, from a real estate agent's point of view, it's only going to increase the value of your property.
100%.
And if I could say this, it's usually from the top down. It's the owner's motto: ethics, honesty, and integrity that's going to separate us. And we will be one of those pack leaders that ends the marathon. And I think we're going to be number one, if you ask me.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great show today. Thanks, James. Appreciate you jumping in.
Great.
Thanks so much, Travis.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing. Carry it with you to and from your commute to work. Hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the Consumer Quarterback.